Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning back in. Glad you can make it back. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. So today we're going to be talking about MLMs and cults. I'm going to break down MLMs and then I'm also going to break down cults. We're going to compare the two, and pretty much the short of it, I'm going to tell you guys that MLMs are cults. Okay, I'm going to explain this to you why that's the case. So let's go ahead and start with MLMs. For those of you who don't know, MLMs are multi-level marketing companies or organizations. Uh, and there's really not a whole lot of talk around them, specifically because these companies are lobbying politicians. They're paying off politicians to not say anything about them. And then another thing too is that they're just now getting exposed, right? With how popular the internet's really becoming with everybody, information is starting to really be more freely shared, and um, exposing more of this shit. And so, and I believe this has been going on for the past what 5-10 years max, with the exposing of it. But definitely it's been taking off quite a bit here within the past few years. But MLMs have been around for a long time, since the early 60s, right, with Amway. um, and so what these multi-level marketing scams are is it's it's supposed to be an organization that is supposed to help you achieve financial freedom through entrepreneurship, right? They're supposed to help you set up your own e-commerce website, right? And help you to give you the tools and the training to go out and prospect your potential customers or potential business partners. Um, and I say business partners because uh, what isn't talked about, and this is the sinister side of things, um, is that pretty much the only way you can ever really make money, or that you're incentivized to make money, is through recruitment. The reason for that is because when you recruit someone, you then by that time have already convinced them to buy a starter pack, some products to sample, and whatnot. Uh, the reason why you don't make any money anywhere else is because on these websites, because it's mainly going to be on a website, these products, um, whether they're good or not, I'm sure some of them are fine, but uh, most of these products are marked up incredibly high. I mean, just the margin for them is astronomical. Uh, the market value is nowhere near what what the asking price for, or what the asking price is for these products. I remember when I was recruited, I was doing some price matching, and I thought it was a really good idea to get to know my products. And so as I was looking, I saw plant-based protein powder that was being sold on the website for $58, and that was 15 servings. Um, and that's not a lot. That's half a month. That is half a month of protein. While on the other hand, I saw a 1.78 pound jug of protein for $20. Yeah, $23. Right. So you're getting, I believe, twice, if not well over twice the amount of this for a fraction of the cost. And so this is what led me into doing a lot of other research. Um, so it's very hard to make to make money. It is. I mean, especially when you're selling protein shakes for $50. 12 protein shakes for $50. That's insane. That is insane, man. Anyways, so uh that the only way you can really make money is through recruitment. And that's again typically when you've convinced someone to buy the starter pack. And starter packs can range, I've seen anywhere from 150 to, $800. And the starter pack that I ended up buying was around 200. And so um you you are convinced right away because they put this front up. They come to you as a friend. They're very friendly with you, and they will approach you anywhere, right? I've seen stories of the bookstore. Walmart is a really big one. So listen, guys, start shopping at start shopping at Kroger, man. Start shopping at Kroger. Um, uh, but so but they'll come to you as a friend. They'll be very friendly with you. They'll try to start that. They'll try to strike up any kind of conversation that they can over anything. If you're drinking a bottle of water, yeah, it's cool, man. I like water too. Just it's just so it's unnatural. It's inorganic, and it's just weird. You can tell right off the bat that they're just weird. Um, but um, they are very good at what they do too. They're very good at making themselves seem friendly. Um, and a lot of the times they'll be pushy for a um, contact exchange. Uh, they will want to exchange contact info, and then that's when they will bombard you with the inviting or invitations to, I've seen a lot of it like parties or a get together, um, or a meeting, um, and a lot of the times it's just going to be a presentation. They'll take you to a presentation, um, and then they will immediately try to convince you that it's not a pyramid scheme. Immediately. Uh, my experience, that's exactly what happened. And then they'll tell you how you can make money, right? By if you do this amount of volume, and then someone you recruited do this amount of volume. Well, guess what? Now you combine both the two, and now you're doing this amount of volume, and now you're making this much more money. And so you're like, well, that's great. Um, so then recruit more people, right? Yeah, pretty much. um, and then once you're in, right, then they will really tell you who they are. Well, I mean, kind of. They'll tell you who they are, right? But they'll hide exactly what they're doing because they want you to believe that you can trust them. Um, and pretty much when you buy these starter packs, when you recruit people to buy these starter packs, um, and you have all of this money funneled into the system, um, and you're not really getting a whole lot of kickback from that, where else is it going? Obviously, it's going straight up to the top. That's why it's called a pyramid scheme. And so, um, this is why it's a cult. Now, I've talked a little bit about MLMs. Now, I kind of want to jump over to cults. Cults, we have this idea that cults are a group of people who are going into the woods and uh, burning trees burning people on stakes and whatnot, um, or sacrificing the neighborhood's favorite puppy. But that's not always the case. A lot of the times, cults can be hidden in plain sight. Um, and there was one that I saw Papa Meat cover, and I think it was over at Delhi. Yeah, I think it was over at Delhi. I don't really know a whole lot because it's been a long time since I saw that video, but they oh yeah, it's a religious organization, right, that also runs a deli, and they're pretty much cut off from the outside world, kind of like how Amish people are, except they don't beat their kids. But in this organization, I can't remember exactly what the name of it was, but in this organization, they have been known to have been very abusive towards their children, and very, very, very hostile towards outsiders. But it's hardly known because not a lot of people talk about it. Not a lot of people know about it either because they're so isolated. But you know, cults can be hidden in plain sight, and they oftentimes they attack or they target the most vulnerable of society, people who have mental health problems, people who um, are desperate for opportunities, people who um, are naive. Um, but it's not always people who are naive, right? It's just vulnerable people that cults typically take advantage of. Um, we see this happen all the time. We saw that with Jim Jones. Jim Jones took incredible advantage of people. Um, and whether whether the people who were following him in the end didn't or believed in what he was saying or not, he still took advantage of them, uh, and all throughout the entire thing. Um, but there are some there are some unflattering documentaries out there that actually do compare themselves to Jim Jones. Um, those of you who know what I'm talking about, you're right. But um, um, some of them will do that, and that's where you can make the comparison. Where I would say the most obvious comparison that MLMs are cults, um, is that they do target the most vulnerable. A Another way, is that the education factor of it all. They will try to educate you, give you emotional audio or emotional, um, inspirational audios, books to read, and just all kinds of stuff, while at the same time making you pay for them. And then too, these audios, these clips, these books, um, are at the same time brainwashing you. And one thing that cults are really good at themselves are brainwashing people. If they can make you believe, right, that what you see with your own eyes, what you hear with your own ears, and what you can smell with your own nose, what you can feel with your own hands, a lie, to believe only what they tell you to believe, that point, there's not really a whole lot to save you. Um, and you're all convinced that this is the right way to go. And uh, there was it in Utah? There was a pretty big cult that was well known for um SA abuse towards younger women. Um, I think it was I don't remember if it was a Mormon sect, or if it was some kind of Christian sect. I can't exactly remember, but I do know that there was a specific cult that was taking advantage of young girls. And I mean that's really unfortunate, man. But oftentimes in this specific one, they would tell these young girls that what they're doing is God's work, whether these young girls were okay with what they were doing or not. Oftentimes they weren't okay with what they were doing. They were forced to, and they were convinced that this is the way, from these people who were controlling their minds. And this happens a lot in MLMs too. Again, because they're one and the same. Um, when you listen to these education audios, when you listen to people who are speaking at these meetings, that's another one too. Is that they will get you to believe what they're saying, and if they can convince you to shut off everything else from the outside world and just get you to believe and hear only what they tell you, um, it's going to be easier to control you. And one thing they really don't like you doing is thinking for yourself and asking questions. They hate that. Any cult falls apart at just a simple question. And believe me, believe me, man, they will shut that shit down real quick. They will shut it down real quick. Um, and another thing to think about too is that even when you're in, you're only supposed to be talking to your upline, right? Not well. I mean, you can talk to your downline and your cross line, but anything negative, right? You talk to your upline. That's the only one that you talk to. In my experience, um, trying to connect through socials with my cross line was considered a big no no. They didn't outright tell me that was a big no no, but um, they they guilt trip you, they gaslight you, they manipulate you into believing that um, talking to your cross line, your peer, is somehow frowned upon, right? That there shouldn't be any negativity. I'm using a lot of quotations because it's all bullshit. Any negativity, right, in your cross line. Um, that all that stuff should go to your upline so that they can convince you that you're just crazy, and whatever they say is the word of God. So, um, that's how they keep you there, right? Is when the only thing you listen to is your upline. That's it. So again, even in the organization, you're isolated, you're controlled, and you're trapped. And some people, I was very I was very fortunate that I began to start using my brain a little bit more after the few weeks I was in. Um, and my brain wasn't fried too much. Not that people don't use their brains while they're in, um, but the fact that these people are good at frying your brains. A lot of people are scrambled, for years. I've seen 10, 15 years, and they they realize what's going on, and they get out, but the trauma that's left behind, holy shit. Because it's not all finances. It's The most damaging part about surviving an MLM, or a cult MLM, is the emotional, the psychological, and mental scarring that's left behind. Um, that's hard. That's harder to deal with than the finances are. Yeah, honestly, it is. Um, when I was recruited, I believed these people. I genuinely thought that these people were uh, helping me, and I genuinely thought that they really cared about my success. But they didn't. The only thing they cared about was my submissiveness and my willingness to keep spending money for their commission. And that's just the reality of it. And they wanted me to believe every single thing that I was telling them. And it's not just the fact that they were giving me audios. It's the fact that religion itself was being pushed down my throat. I'm not religious, but they were pushing me down that path. Um, when I went to a weekend conference, I shouldn't put quotations because it was actually weekend long. Um, I was invited to show up early Sunday morning for the Sunday service, and I said, you know, I'm not religious. I don't do that. And they said, oh no, that's fine. That's fine. It's cool. And then, you know, that was that was that for a little bit. But oftentimes they would talk a lot about God. And then, um, fast forward a little bit later, now it's time for me to have um, uh, a hard launch, or a launching party, right? For an or grand opening. That's right. That's what I was trying to find. Um, and they were trying to get this done in a church. And immediately I didn't feel comfortable with that, not at all. But they kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Now, this wasn't what ultimately led me to go away, or to walk away from it, because I mean it was the cultivation of a lot of different things. The fact that they lied to me and took advantage of me and whatnot. But um, oftentimes in cults, religion is pushed, and don't get it twisted that religion is just Christianity, or it's just Judaism, or it's just Islam, or it's just Buddhism, or whatever religion is out there. It's not just a set, you know, mainstream religion or whatnot. It could be anything. It could be anything. The fact that this guy up at the top has so much knowledge and you should listen to whatever he says and everything like that. That in itself is a religion, right? Because you're essentially practicing every single thing that this guy teaches, everything this guy says, everything this guy writes down, as if it's a deity. Um, and so it's not just specifically a deity it's in itself that we most of the time recognize as a deity. Um, it can always be something else. So, um, a good example of this would be uh, not exactly, but kind of like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was very massively well known. He was massively respected, loved, um, and people would die for him. People would die for Michael Jackson. Um, and I can guarantee you a lot of what people um a lot of people would believe every single thing that he said. Um, and so you know people start religions from nothing. I mean, this is a funny one, but the flying spaghetti monster. People actually started a religion on that. And people started a religion on that. But when you have people who have such a massive influence like Michael Jackson on average day people, right? Or the flying spaghetti monster, people will naturally submit to that kind of followership, and cults take advantage of that. That's why they're cults. Um, and then again, once they draw you in, they can take advantage for everything you got. And so we looked at MLMs, and we saw that they come to you as a friend. They target the most vulnerable of people, or the most vulnerable you are in certain times of your life. When I dropped out of college, my mental health was abysmal. It was terrible, and I'm still recovering from that. Um, but they took advantage of me that way. And me being so open, so honest with people, you know, um, and so um, and when you get in, uh, you're told that you can make money by selling product. When the actual money making machine that exists within the system is recruitment. And so it's pretty much just a get recruited, go recruit, right? And this is a lot what cults do, right? They come to you as friends, they target the most vulnerable people. Once they get you in, they make you believe whatever they're saying, and then they then tell you to go out and recruit other people. And so then you bring more people in, and you start collecting and collecting and collecting, and then they get you, and then you can get them to do whatever you want them to do. And so these things are one and the same. They're cults, and when you start asking questions, cults fall apart, and they're very simple questions. So make sure you guys are doing your research before you go into these meetings. Hopefully, I was able to give you guys some really good information, um, and hopefully, um, I can leave you with some valuable information that you can take with you. And so, guys, if you happen to have any questions specifically about cults or MLMs, please, you can email me or you can leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to get with you there and talk to you. Always remember, guys, listen, this is an open format, and I want I want to hear what you guys are thinking. I want to know what your guys' experiences are, because I want to get this message out more. The more we talk about this, the more attention is put on it, the more exposing we can do on these MLMs, and begin to take these guys down, because this is evil. It's absolutely evil. So help me in this fight, guys. Um, I want to help victims, to include myself, and I want to help protect you guys from these scammers. Okay, so that being said, guys, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Okay, take care of your bodies. Okay, take care of your minds. Get right. Get right physically. Get right mentally. Okay. So you don't have to go to the gym. I definitely recommend it, but just get active. Go walk. Go jog. Go climbing. Go hiking. Whatever. And then also on the mentality side, if you have to go talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. Okay, a professional, a group of men around that you respect, and you know, um, um, and for my ladies too. Look, um, you have to have at least some kind of male figure, preferably a strong, capable father, that you have that can ultimately protect you from this. I understand a lot of women today, or I mean, hardly anybody today has an actual dad around, and a capable dad at that. That's pretty rare to find. But if you do, please, please lean on him. Please lean on him. Um, but if you don't, uh, definitely, absolutely do your research. Do your research. Get together in groups. Okay, that's how women have survived for thousands of years. But for my boys, have a good group of men around that you respect. Okay, um, and really lean on those guys. Okay, so um, um, oh, also, guys, if this video really helped you, please like, share, subscribe. I don't want to leave that out. Um, and the only reason I'm adding that in is because it's really important for the YouTube algorithm to push this message to more people. And so, if you guys are really engaging with the video, um, YouTube is actually going to then uh, incentivize other people to watch it by showing more videos like this in their feed. So guys, help me with that, please, so that people can see this message and really understand MLMs and cults for what they really are. Okay, so I appreciate the help, guys. That being said, um, thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Thank you so much. You guys are fucking killing it. You guys are rock stars. um, Again, make sure you're taking care of yourselves and take care of each other too. I don't want to leave that out as well. Take care of each other, okay? If someone's having a rough time, lift them up, okay? Please, either in the comment section or not, lift them up. All right. So, thanks again, guys, for watching. You guys are amazing, and I'll talk to you soon.